following presentation will cover why we believe James Quincy, the current CEO of Coca-Cola, is a prime example of a modern-day leader. So being a great leader is much more than just a job title, and it's more than the perceived power and influence a boss has over their employees. And it's also not an inherent trait that only some people possess. You do need more than charisma or that it factor that some people believe leaders have. It takes a commitment to the study of leadership, years of experience, the ability to motivate, inspire others, and that all comes with practice. A great leader should also be well versed in the 5 practices of exemplary leadership.
Okay, so now that we have defined leadership and proposed a thesis statement as to why CEO James Quincy portrays exemplary leadership, let's break down the 5 practices and how Quincy embodies them. The first of the 5 practices of exemplary leadership is model the way. To model the way means being a reputable, genuine example for people to look up to. And within this practice, there are 2 components, which are to clarify values and set the example. James Quincy has clarified his values by making it obvious he cares about business ethics, diversity, and having a strong work ethic. Quincy stands by his ethics value by being the co-chair of the Consumer Goods Forum, and he's also a founding member of the New York Stock Exchange Board Advisory Council. He also values diversity and education, and he does this by continuing to diversify his knowledge and education in multiple cultures, and this includes his ability to speak 2 languages, which are Spanish and English. Quincy also displays the second component of model the way, which is set the example. Quincy takes a less formal approach in his dress, usually sporting jeans, and he likes to focus on connecting with workers and employees through shared values and inspiring experimentation within the workplace. And in an interview, Quincy actually stated that whether we succeed or indeed fail, we should see that as an opportunity to say, what did we learn? James Quincy also embodies the second practice of exemplary leadership, which is inspire a shared vision. He does this by envisioning the future and enlisting others. It's obvious Coca-Cola is envisioning the future, and a quote from their website from the CEO states, "We're committed to making a difference by bringing attention and energy to progressing justice and human rights, whether in Atlanta, across the United States, or around the world." The company is also focusing on e-commerce, as it is a shared value with customers, but it will also help propel the company into the future. James Quincy and the Coca-Cola Company also enlist others. Quincy has stated that he is focusing on inclusion, empowerment, and accountability, and that's what allows his leadership team and employees the license to make decisions. Quincy's laissez-faire, hands-off approach to leadership is also what helps enlist others because it allows them to be their own boss, which empowers them.
Challenge the process. Challenging the process is a critical component of an individual's leadership approach. James Quincy embodies this characteristic of leadership through his approach to leadership as well as the programs he has put in place. Unlike other CEOs, James takes a more informal approach to his work attire. Rather than the traditional suit and tie, James can be found at the office in jeans and a polo. The idea behind this is that it allows him to be more relatable to his team. It promotes a shared value of which he is just like any other individual at the company. This allows him to be seen as more approachable to his people. James also takes a non-traditional approach to marketing. His program, Share Coke, was a result of his untraditional approach. Coca-Cola was one of the first companies to start personalizing labels with consumers' names on them. There's a photo provided to illustrate how the company has approached this method from a marketing standpoint. What makes challenging the process so successful for James is that he's not afraid to experiment and take risks. He understands that the company must be innovative and stand out in some respects. Part of these experiments and risks is knowing when to cut your losses and learn from failed experiments. By continually experimenting, learning from these results, they are better to challenge the process in different areas. Not as uncommon today as it was 100 years ago, but individuals employed by James are seen as business partners. The effort behind this is to encourage individuals to think like owners and managers so they can make the best decisions for the company over the long haul. The efforts of others to do so drive better results for the company and shareholders. Part of challenging the process is stepping out of your comfort zone. This is encouraged by James so much that they have defined their own terminology. It is called New Coke Syndrome, and it is when employees are afraid to try something new. Mr. Quincy believes so strongly in taking risks and trying new experiments that he continues to challenge the process in many ways and areas. He encourages his staff to do so through experiments and programs that he has put in place at Coca-Cola. Enable others to act. Coca-Cola is a global company that has many different divisions and programs. For the company to be successful, James has to enable others to act on his behalf. Part of enabling others to act is by fostering collaboration among groups and individuals. The CEO expects individuals to work together as a team to complete projects and begin new experiments. He trusts that they will think like owners and as a team come to the best conclusion or results for the company. Part of fostering collaboration is also with external stakeholders of the company. Coca-Cola recently invested more money in minority-owned media companies in an effort to support small business owners and promote diversity. The effort in doing so shows that they are doing their best to be a good corporate citizen as well as developing those business relationships. One of the most critical steps to enabling others to act is empowering them to do so. Mr. Quincy takes a hands-off approach to leadership, in which he empowers his employees to make decisions. This approach also ties into his challenging the process approach. When people are empowered to make decisions and encouraged to think like owners, they will begin to qualify decisions more thoroughly and take a vested interest in what they are doing. This requires that James provide his people with trust and autonomy to be able to feel empowered to make decisions.
Now that you have more of a general understanding on how Coca-Cola enables others how to act, I'd like to focus on how Coca-Cola encourages the heart within their company. This is a heavy focus that can be used to drive motivation in the workplace, and honestly, that's one of the biggest factors of what encouraging the heart does. In Chapter 10, we do see that it focuses on recognizing contribution, which is broken into two subcategories, expecting the best and personalizing recognition. Expecting the best deals with things such as being clear about goals and desired outcomes and results that a company is looking to achieve. It also deals with building a structure or a mainframe that leads to success in achieving these goals without confusion. And the last part of expecting the best is setting high expectations that motivate employees to achieve these results, or almost even motivates the individuals to exceed the expectations. Personalizing recognition is the concept of just giving feedback and recognizing when individuals make or do not make contributions. This is done by leaders engaging with their employees on a personal basis that gives them a natural connection. This is also done through innovating the workplace to accommodate with how you can personalize these recognitions. And this requires leaders to observe and learn about how their employees work, so then the personal recognition can be more meaningful to them individually. Focusing on expecting the best specifically, Coca-Cola already does a phenomenal job at this. This is probably their #1 strength, and it's entirely due because they are consistently driven by their results. Starting with the CEO, the expectations are set extremely high. Then followed with that is recognition for outstandingly good work. It's also noted that Coca-Cola, their processes are driven by specific goals, which they are trying to achieve. So people have a general understanding of why and what they are trying to achieve. And then lastly, they do a great job at expecting the best because the relationships are strong at Coca-Cola. The stronger the relationships are built, the better the workplace is. And then everybody has that same feeling of, hey, we need to hit these results. We need to work this hard to get there. And we need to do this process in order to make it happen. That relationship is now a bond between all of the employees that are trying to achieve that same goal. And then looking at the personalization of the recognition slide, I would say that this is the slide that Coca-Cola does an okay job at. They could definitely use a little bit more improvement in this category, but they're also not terrible at it. It is known that Coca-Cola has an importance around innovation. And this importance around innovation is supposed to be used to improve the work life for the employees. So for an example, they have now made it a possibility that online networking and communicating digitally for further growth opportunities is a concept that they practice. And this is an accommodation that they've made for employees to be able to be personal through like an online platform or digital platform without being face to face. The other thing about the innovation, though, is that they do encourage their employees to be creative with innovation as well. So this is something that I feel like is a very good strength of them with the personalization, entirely due to the fact that it gives opportunities the potential to grow the company themselves, and they also explore new areas that they will get recognition for. But the other cool part about that is if it's something that works out really well and let's just say is more efficient, the employees now have created a new structure that the company will utilize in the future, and they do get recognized for that. And that actually makes employees feel extremely more empowered. The innovation improves lives completely, especially the work lives. So that's where they're doing a very good job, actually. But there's other aspects with more of like the face-to-face personalizing recognitions that they could improve upon.
So we hope you found that the presentation was very insightful into just how good of a leader James Quincy is. That his actions, values, ideals, and experience have made him a great leader, and that he wasn't just born that way. Hopefully you can study this yourself and become a great leader in your own life. Thanks for your time.